that was a lot of energy. That was interesting. Do you
How
feel
you
like
feel?
a changed person now?
I don't know yet. I still feel the same.
We got to get you out in the world. We got to see if you're opening the gates of into the ancient Ireland. I'm all on board. We're going to have to start researching some flights, and now that the world's opening up.
What was interesting before COVID happened, we had a travel program. In that travel program, before COVID happened, we're all supposed to, not all of us, the group was supposed to go to Ireland.
Oh, wow.
And COVID happened, and they pushed it off, and then it became 2 years, and the next thing you know, they canceled it, and then they had to reschedule it. But that was interesting that group
Wow.
was supposed to go to Ireland, and they said nope. Other plans were at work. It was almost like it's being stopped. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, yeah, but that kind of stuff can't be stopped. And that's the stuff for me, like, there's nothing on this planet that would have made me think that there was a portal being opened up in Ireland, and an old, an ancient energy of Ireland was going to start emerging from that. Like, I'm not creative enough for that. I couldn't even remember you wrote a book. So,
yeah, that's interesting.
That's the stuff that I end up trusting when it comes in, and it's so random like that. It's like, what is that?
Yeah, that was. It went from here to here.
It's like, oh, and it was almost like I'm looking here, and then they're like, look over here, and I may have even turned in the video because it felt like they were showing it to me in a whole different place than what I was looking at for that event that was going on. Like, okay, now look over here.
So was this because of Stonehenge or something, or was this for something else? Because I know Stonehenge is close to it, but I don't think it's in Ireland. It's more south.
Stonehenge, now that you're saying that, probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, it seemed like somebody's Ascension session had a lot to do with Stonehenge energies waking up again. I know that people have been working on bringing that in, but the person that it was for, they were bothered because the stones are in the wrong places. So they're like, the stones are not set up right. That's never going to work. And so I don't know what will happen there to put them in the right alignment. Some of them apparently are missing, which I think I'm sure that's true. Yeah. But anyways, you say Stonehenge. I don't know that that's related to Stonehenge. But when you were talking about portals, and then all of a sudden I felt like I went through one, and there was this city, and it was kind of like it was built within the stones, within rock, but it was like these arches and beautiful dwellings that were built inside within the rocks. And then where I was walking through, it was like there was this pathway or this road, and I'm walking through that, and there's storefronts and different things, but it's kind of more, geez, I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say it. It's kind of more Flintstone-y, like they're made from the rocks, they're made from the stones, but they're
more natural,
but still modern enough. Like, they're not rustic, like but they're built into the land, the material. I'm probably not portraying that right, but yeah, it was futuristic, but yet also made out of nature itself.
Cool. So would that be the crystal cities, or is that stuff that's in Ireland?
Could be one of the crystal cities, because the crystal cities are not crystal, they are crystal vibration.
Yeah.
So yeah, it could be, because it felt very advanced, and it felt like an alternate dimension. Like it went through the porthole, and then this is an alternate reality that's coexisting with us, like the fairy realm,
Gotcha.
And it sits over Ireland. So that's interesting.
Oh, okay.
As I'm talking to you about it, it just feels like information might be coming in, because now that I'm looking at it, it even feels like their transportation, the path that I was on is for walking, but their transportation is more like the little flying cars.
Gotcha. And all this time when
the trees are different.
When you was talking about the portals opening Ireland and activation and everything. And I thought we were going to get the leprechauns or something.
I did too.
Some product,
I wouldn't have
the
been
leprechauns.
surprised. I would not have been surprised if that was a real thing. Well, I know that leprechauns can be a real thing. Too many people have had experiences with those guys to not be, right? But yeah, that didn't show up. That's funny. Yeah. Yeah, that whole thing's interesting because I can see it in my head. And when I was looking at Florida, when they showed me the Crystal City sitting over Florida, they flew me over this river that was winding and twisting. And then off to the left, there was this community right on the water, like right at the water's edge. And they were the guardians to the gateway to the Crystal City. And I'm getting this download of information, like someone's telling it to me, like, oh, that's the guardians. And then poof, we fly through the mountain, and it was an illusion of a mountain in this one spot where we could fly through it. And when we got to the other side, then there was this beautiful, gorgeous, and same kind of thing. It looked different from this one in Ireland, but the dwellings were built within nature. It communed with nature. It wasn't, we're going to tear down these trees and put up a big building. The building was built within the trees, and the trees, it was very much surrounded by nature. And same type of idea though, kind of more like it felt ancient, but more advanced. So,
That's
yeah,
pretty
so
cool.
it could be one of the crystal cities, and it's over Ireland. How fun is that?
Makes me think, makes me wonder. It also reminds me of a movie. I can never think of the name of it. I only saw it once, and it's an older, low budget film. And I tried looking up the name of that movie and no luck. But it reminds me a lot of what you're saying. So the Crystal Cities, is that floating, or is that like just layered on top of it?
That's a great question, because I wouldn't have thought of that, but it does feel like it is coexisting, but above us, like it's
Okay.
So yeah, what we would interpret as floating, that dimension to me feels like it's up higher than our reality. Yeah.
Yeah, very similar to that movie, because it was very higher up, but there was like pillars that were like keeping it up there. It was pretty cool, pretty interesting.
Yeah. I love it when things kind of match up, because those ideas for those movies, the books, the sci-fi stuff, it all comes from somewhere.
I know somebody's tapping into something, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So other thing was the sun children for the light beings. What were you seeing on your side with that?
That's funny, because I'm surprised that came in, but I had an aha moment the other day when I was talking to a QHHT client. We were talking about hybrid children, or no, we were talking about the waves of volunteers. And I was telling him, yeah, Daniel says that the wave that's coming in now are the sun children. They're coming through the portals. And then all of a sudden I just start telling her all this stuff about it, which you heard today. It's not what I had interpreted as before, that we're making the world ready for these new beings to come in. We are making it ready for these new beings to come in, but not for the reason we think. They're coming in.
They're coming in to help out another group.
No, they're coming in like they want to have a human experience.
But
okay. Because they come at the vibration that they do, we get help, or like that they automatically are here helping us raise the vibration, because they come in at a higher vibration, and they couldn't come in until we reached a certain mark, so that their vibration, because we've seen it, we've all seen it, where a very highly sensitive person comes into a dense world and they become suicidal. Well, they didn't want to all come in and become suicidal, but we've raised the vibration in certain areas of the planet now where they could come in and be sustained. A lot of them are coming into homes where the parents have been through an awakening, and so they're more aware of the higher vibrational, the psychic kids, and they're not going to be scared of that. They're going to enhance it and support it. So anyways, it's a win-win. They get to come in and have a human experience, and because of their vibration, they're going to help us hold and lift that vibration for humanity. So it's like, oh, okay. So I was kind of being narrow-minded, like they're going to come in and help us, but we're actually helping them too. So it's a exchange. Yeah,
That's cool. You help me, I help you.
yeah.
We help out each other.
Come on over here. Come on over here and have a human experience. I don't know who that salesman is, but he deserves a button. Come have a human experience over here. You get to see what it's like to have a body and feel and taste and touch and experience. And in exchange, you're going to bring that beautiful energy that's going to help us get to our goal too. So
You like ice cream? Come try some ice cream.
we have many flavors. You're gonna be mind blown with the ice cream. Yeah, maybe that's what they taunted them with.
So the Secret Space Conference, you mentioned there was a bubble. So that was pretty cool. That was interesting.
Yeah.
What were you seeing on your side?
It was a clear bubble, kind of like when you're blowing bubbles and you get the bubble, but it was enormous. And it was interesting because we've seen people, the true artists of the world, who write these beautiful light language things and they put pictures in them and stuff. I've seen ones where they draw the beings and they're just being downloaded with all of this light language, or the light language is all around them. It was an image, something like that, only the beings were the humans. Everybody that showed up to that conference. And as they entered into the conference, it's like the crown chakra opens up and all of the information that you would have would be downloaded into this bubble, and everything everybody else had already downloaded. As you're in there, you're just exchanging that information. It's going in all the directions. So it's really cool. So the whole bubble is filled with those little scribbles, right? The little, whatever frequency or codes that you're carrying. And as everybody's getting together, you're all sharing this information. So you're going to know things that you're going to be like, I'm not sure how I know that. You've been downloaded with a lot of very intelligent information. So it's kind of fun when you think about who's all been there and the experiences that they've had and the knowledge that they've gained, and you've been exchanging information with them.
Interesting. Yep. Time will tell. If something comes across and we're like, that's what Tracie and Daniel was talking about. That must be it.
You're going to be sitting down going, hey, Tracie, I wrote 6 more books. And I'll be like, you wrote a book?
What happened to the first one?
Yeah. Welcome to the right. What do you mean you wrote 1 years ago? What?
Yeah. Even my third one, I've been putting my third one off for so long that it's been sitting there on my computer, and I'm like, oh, I have to finish it and just
get her done.
And that's one of the things how I talked about earlier. Everything is almost divine timing. So I kind of took it as there's probably something else for me to learn, experience, get knowledge on before I finish the third one, and then I can move on to the fourth one. That's how I look at it.
Yeah. Well, you
Maybe
probably
that's
have
cheating.
everything you need downloaded in your mind right now.
Doing it right now.
You're gonna be like, start typing.
And it's very a couple of simple things for me to fix, but just never did it yet. And I think because there's probably something else I need to add to it that's not in it.
Yeah, I know how that goes, because I get inspired. Like when that information was coming in about the children, I was like, man, that'd be a cool thing to write a book about. And then I get home and my mind's blank.
And thinking about it, even with the conference, oh yeah, the cat.
Yeah.
So even with the conference, it made me feel better about what they were experiencing. It even made me feel even more better how I was laying out the fourth book. I was like, oh, well, now I feel even more better because they can relate to a lot of this stuff they experience.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's our minds are, I'm telling you what, they're bringing in a lot of new information, and we're all lined up to tap into that. So don't be surprised if you're inspired.
Bing, bing, bing.
That's right.
Next thing, what were you seeing? Is that the cat wants your attention? Hey, look
He wants
at
me to open the door because I shut the door earlier. He's
Well,
just sitting by the door like, how long is it going to take you to realize I need the door open?
oh,
So,
you want to open the door or not?
I think, yeah, or he'll keep doing that.
So the last thing would be, what were you seeing with the Russian Ukraine type thing? Was you mentioned some information,
It was
the guy
interesting
behind
because,
bars.
yeah, at first they were showing, that's why they said it's not a guy in a dungeon, because I was imagining him in a dungeon when they said there's a guy behind bars. It was metaphorical. He's not allowed to.
Not physical bars, but maybe energetically.
No, it feels like
and
he's in a very
isolated.
isolated area, but I mean, like all the comforts, but he's not allowed out, right? So, yeah, he's just being held captive and are locked down so that he can't get out with that information. It's interesting, as we're just talking about, it just feels like there's some next level, there's some stuff going on there. Well, the first image that I had in my mind, and that's the image they were trying to figure out, was they were showing that rooftop, like the shingles on a roof.
Right.
And so that's what they were saying. There's something hidden. We can't see what's beyond that. But then it was like this big wind came and took all the shingles off. And then you could see the framework, and you could see down, you could see everything. And so whoever or whatever that is, it's about to be exposed. But right now, nobody knows anything. And then all of a sudden it's going to be like, oh, so it's probably something that'll take everybody by surprise, is my guess, is that it's going to be something. And because there's not knowledge behind it right now, even they're saying, we're not sure what's in there or what's behind that closed door, but the ceiling, they're going to raise the ceiling off of that thing, and there's going to be something big exposed with that. Definitely a lot of players in this game. There's fresh, sorry, I got a little cat hair now on my nose. A lot of players in that game that, I mean, it's no surprise, these elite people, the puppet masters, we're all going and fighting a war, but why are we fighting this war? Why did this war break out? Why is this actually happening? They're giving us these reasons, but is there more to that? Is there something else behind the scenes? What's happening? And so that's what I think they're talking about, is that these things behind the scenes are going to start getting exposed. They think that they've got people under lock and key to keep that quiet, but somebody might have made it through the cracks, and they're going to expose something. And so we'll see what happens with that. But
time will tell.
I know it feels like it's going to be a surprise, or like it'll take people by surprise. Like, holy cow, I didn't realize that was. It's kind of like when you pick up a board and there's a rattlesnake. It's like, oh, where did that come from? Yeah. So something of that nature. We don't have rattlesnakes here, thank goodness. At least not that I'm aware. Yeah, so as you know, and the audience is probably pretty clear on this too, I don't watch the news, so I don't have a lot of information on Russia and Ukraine. The impressions I get with everyone involved is the same kind of thing you're going to get with the 9/11 event and all the big events around the world, is the people that are involved in those events knew when they came into this life that they were going to play that part. Because when I look at the people, yeah, I see injustices done, I see bad things happening, but I also feel like, oh, there's this feeling of, but they chose that. They chose that experience. They chose to play that role for humanity or for whatever experience it brought them. So we have to remember that we choose these lives, we're choosing these roles, And I always take it back to the video games. When you go log on to a simulated game, you pick your character, right? Oh, I'm going to put these clothes on him and sunglasses and make his hair spiky. And, and you get to customize your avatar and put him in the game. And so we got to remember that it's a similar thing. We've picked where we're going to be in that game, which country are we going to be born into? What parents are we going to have? What kind of siblings are we going to have? And we pick our scenarios. We create that. So
it's kind of like Sim City for the soul.
Yes.
Yeah, I've said it like once before. It's like life is like a infinite video game.
And we have to remember that
cycles.
when we leave the game, it's kind of like when you're playing a video game with all your friends and your character gets knocked off. You either go eat some pizza or whatever, and then maybe you rejoin the game later, reincarnation, you come back, so maybe you have to start over here, or maybe you go play a different game. The game analogy really does kind of resonate for me when it comes to life, because we get so freaked out about, oh, but what if you die and whatever? It's like, well, then you go play another game. You go do something different. You go eat a pizza. Yeah, maybe you go to bed, take a nap. So
right. And it's funny you mentioned video game, because that's one of the presentations I've been working on for like over a year, and I just never finished it.
You need to finish it. It's such a great analogy. And it really does help people kind of get the grasp. It makes some people mad, but I think it's, because they don't want to think that this is a game. And I'm not trying to come across that this is a game.
But it's the best analogy you can use.
It's a great analogy. Yeah. There is soul growth in there. There is purpose to it. It's not, it's not just for nothing. We're not going through these painful moments and the abuse and the, the different tragedies that families and people have been through for nothing. It's a very advanced soul game, and you're evolving through it, just like you would in a video game. You get to the next level and the next level, and it gets a little harder and it gets a little harder. But the more maybe you play the game a little smarter, and you get there even faster. So, yeah.
How about it's like a video game creating a movie?
Very true.
How about that?
There you go.
Mind blown.
Make it happen. All right. What you've got too many assignments at this point.
I know, huh? I need to cut back a little bit.
Movies and
I need to cut back a little bit. That is the goal with Guardians of Magic, is to come out with a mini series. So
that would be awesome.
Get the books out the way and then partner up with someone and create a mini series of some sort.
Well, we're
that would be the best
to the universe. So if you're watching and you can make that happen for Jason, don't hesitate.
Make it happen.
Reach out. Maybe you know someone who knows someone.
Yeah. Movie producer, huh?
There's powerful people watching this. We know.
Really? Tracie knows more than me.
Oh, we've got some really good onlookers. They're watching. Yeah.
Awesome. I love it. Was there anything else that you saw that we didn't touch on? That was the 3 or 4 main things that we touched on.
Nothing that's coming to mind. Yeah. Just be good people. Good people together.
Yeah. Love one another.
That's right. Kumbaya, baby.
Perfect. Well, with that being said, I know it's the top of the hour, and I know this video is going to be longer than an hour, but thank you for bearing with us.
Even if we ever made a 1-hour video.
I know, never happens. So looking at the time, it looks like this is a 2-hour video. So thank you for everything. I know it's hard to sit there.
Do it in chunks if you have to. Of course, you're watching this at the end, so you already did it. So
thank you.
Thank you for making it this far. Woo!
I'll tell the viewers what they want.
That's right. That's good.
All right. Well, if that is it, I think we can wrap it up.
Yeah, cheers to another video.
Cheers.
There you go.
Yours is still upside down.
With
We just took
the
it
yin and the
as
yang of the symbol.
this must be the masculine energy, and that must, and Tracie's the feminine
Mine's
energy.
pointing up. Yep.
And the link is below. It's on my Teespring website. So links below if you're ever interested in the cup or a banner, a towel. They have all kinds of little things on there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I have my little sticker over here, which I also have a bunch of other magneted things, so I won't show it off.
Yep.
But
And I know if we talked about this, but this, I also use this part of Guardians of Magic. So this would be like their Stargate. If you ever watched the series Stargate, this is their version of the Stargate. So Tracie helped me out with that, you know, with the timelines and space and timelines. I was like, gosh, that's perfect. So now my characters can travel through space.
Unlocking the mysteries of life.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all doing it together. It's very cool. Yeah. All right. It's past Jason's bedtime at this time.
Oh yeah.
You're hanging in there pretty good with me. I'm fading and you're 2 hours ahead of me. So I know that I appreciate
gotta get ready
up late.
Well, I want everybody to have a good night and take care, and thank you for everything. I'm
going to remind you guys all to click like on this video. Help Jason get his page out there. Make comments. It helps spread the word. It helps get the videos out there. And it's, you know, this is content that would be fun to get out and get more people involved with it. So thank you for playing your part by clicking like. Should we do it together?
Smash it.
Do it. Anyways, all right, everybody, have a wonderful week ahead. And thank you, Jason, for setting this up again.
Thank you. Thank you very much.